Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. I always, for historical purposes, I always start by taking a picture because I love to, especially when there's this many people here. Holy smokes. Plus, it helps me learn faces and names, which is one of my goals. So, everyone smile. This is so when we eventually have to go into one of the Epic buildings, because that will be our size. It'll be fun to look back and remember. Remember when we used to have them back at the Senior Center? Oh, that was amazing. But now we have, with 100 people we have. I'm Jesse Charles, the president of the Verona Historical Society. With us today, other officers, we have Ruth Jensen, our secretary. There's Ruth. Is Bev? I'm not sure if Bev's in the crossover. Bev is our secretary, and Art, who might be camping today, as our vice president. But thank you everyone for coming. And I always like to start. Yeah, what? Oh, is Lisa here? Lisa, I forgot, one of our board members. Hey, Lisa.
It's okay.
How's it going? How's the coffee? Is it okay?
It's delicious.
Okay, I'll let my wife know.
Thank
She
you.
made it for me. Maybe one cup or one pot of run up the door. I like to start with John Scherer isn't here, is he? I think. Is John? John Scherer? Okay, I think he might be out of town. But I like to start with some Verona trivia. This comes directly from his book, Down at the Nest. If you guys have read it, or if you have a copy, maybe you know the answer to this. Which one of these, so the Eagle's Nest was on the corner of Main and East Verona Avenue where the gas station is now, and it was one of our stagecoach stops. It was there until 1970. John wrote a book, his family owned it for about 30-some years. And if you've read his book, you may know the answer to this, which is one of these historical personalities used to frequent there. Was it Al Ringling, Frank Lloyd Wright, Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch, or Crazy TV Lenny? I have to put, okay, Lisa has a guess.
It was Frank Lloyd Wright.
It sure was Frank Lloyd Wright, yeah. And John, our member who wrote the book, used to serve him at the bar. And there's some funny stories in there about how Frank Lloyd Wright would never take money with him. He would show up with very flamboyant outfit. He would never take money, and he would always say, I'll mail you the check, I'll mail you the check. And guess what? He actually did. He did. But as I asked John, he had a moment where I said, did he include the tip? And John's like, no, he just paid for what I said, so you got stiffed out of your tip every time, right? It was, you know, come to think of it, I did. so not a big tipper, Frank Lloyd Wright. Real quick, we do have, I forgot to bring them today, but if you want one of John's books, we're down to about 5 or 6. Just shoot me an email at saveveronahistory@gmail.com. Or find me afterwards, and I'll pull it off to the side for you. So who's new? If this is your first Verona Historical Society meeting, put your hand up. Oh my gosh, wow, I see 6 or 7. Thank you for coming so much. I like to do a little bit of market research and find out how we got the word out. Who heard about it like on Facebook? Facebook, so 2 of the new timers, 3. Who heard about it through the Verona Press? Okay, so a few more. Was there any other new folks? How did you hear about it? I'm just kind of curious how we got the word out.
Newsletter.
Oh, the Senior Center Chronicle, right? I forgot. That's another big one too. Is that how you guys found out about it too?
Oh, from my friends.
From your friends. Good. Word of mouth. It's the best free advertising. Great. Thank you. I did want to mention that Ruth, our secretary, has a sign-in list. If you don't mind signing in, if you want to put your email down, we do these meetings once a month. We only send you 1 email a month usually, and we let you know about upcoming meetings if you want to put it down. And also, if you want to be a member, it's just $5 for the whole year, or $7 for a family. Does it sound okay? I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's turn. It's breaking up. But so let Ruth know if you'd like to become a member. Secretary's report. Dr. Ruth Jensen.
Well, I don't have too much to say. I mailed, well, actually Jesse mailed it out this time for me because he wanted to include a picture, and I don't know how to include a picture. I just know words. So you should have had it this week, and if you don't, I have a copy and I can get you. But we're up to around 150 people that receive it now, so we're doing great. I'm glad you're all here.
A big thanks to Delma, who was here, for being our speaker last month and letting us tour her amazing Lustron home. And Ruth, thanks for typing up the great summary of the Lustron. I guess we do, to keep it official, we do motions, so I'd like to propose a motion to accept Ruth's secretary report into the permanent record. Does anyone want to second it? Just raise your hand and say your name out if you're a member.
Amy Fowler, I
Okay.
second.
Great, Amy Fowler will second it.
Hi.
And I guess, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the streak continues. I don't think, is Bev? Hey Bev, hi, our secretary Bev is here. Oh Bev, there's seats up in the front, you guys. I feel bad having people sit all in the back, but I guess we're leaving soon anyways. Here you go, Bev. What's the secretary's report? Oh, treasurer's report. Well, you were the secretary at some point, so I'm half right, yeah.
our treasurer's report is $3,157.81.
And $50 of that was from John's books that were sold at the Sauzier last January, and I forgot to deposit the check. So we made $50 this month that we actually made back in January. And Lorleen is next to her sporting a vintage Verona High School. Where's the paw? I don't get it. Something's missing in there? The Wildcat paw? Huh? Oh, just kidding. She's got a Verona Indian shirt on. It's Indians, that's right. I got to be both. I was Wildcats till 6th grade, or sorry, Indians till 6th grade, then Wildcats, so I'm a hybrid. I'm proud to say I got to be both. Well, I'll do a motion. I'll propose a motion to accept Bev's treasurer's report. Would anyone like to second it? Just say your name out loud. Oh, Lynn Thomas. Well, Lynn Thomas will second. And any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, it passes. Okay, a big thank you to Andy, who's back from a well-deserved vacation, for doing all our AV stuff, and doing those Don Stewart videos we just saw, sitting down and helping getting those preserved with Don's voice on them.
When were those videos taken?
They're labeled as 1940, 1939, some 45, so I think around that age, I assume. That's what Andy had named the files that.
And more. There were still later ones too that we didn't do anything with. He's still got a lot more, but it went to the early 30s. I think there's some that were 33, 34.
Yeah, pretty cool. Look at Verona back in that time, see it moving and coming live. So did Jessica make it today? I wanted to mention for our interviews project, do you guys, who knows Mary Fritz? You guys know Mary? Okay, so a couple people. She's lived in Verona her whole life. I think she's in her 90s maybe, and she lives on Fritz Road. So anytime someone lives on a road that they're named after, I want to know more about them, because there's going to be history there. And Jessica, one of our members, sat down and interviewed her for an hour and a half, just about the farm, the Fritz family, and that'll be on our website soon. We're putting all those interviews up, and that was when we did this month. I'll have her talk about it if she makes it next month. So, okay, project update. I'll try to keep it within 5 minutes. But one of the big projects, or the big project we're doing for this summer is, I know we have a lot of new members. So this is the Dane County Poor House and Poor Farm from the 1850s. This is the asylum. You might remember this. It was there till 2003-04, greeting you when you came in, and the institutions took care of poor, mentally ill, Civil War veterans' families for a long time. Here's a map I made where they were. If you're not familiar with Verona, the poorhouse was here. Here's PB. Here's East Verona Avenue, 1854/52, depending on what you read. It was built there. There's where the asylum was. Over here was two of the cemeteries they used. We're missing a couple of cemeteries that we're trying to find, but there were two they used. This is Gus's Diner, and so you're probably familiar. There's a stretch of grass there. Now there's about 400 burials there from these two institutions. And in 1993, these folks put up a plaque. Hey, there's Art, our vice president. And is there a Lingard here today? Can I meet a Lingard? I know one of these is a Clara Lingard. She just did it, and she's in this picture, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes, that's how I recognize the name. Is this her here?
Yes.
So Clara just passed, sadly, but she was part of the group who thought, hey, there's nothing marking this cemetery. There was nothing. And they got donations, and for years they worked to put the plaque up. And at the time, no one knew where the headstones were. They had all been removed. There used to be individual marble headstones. Well, they were found in the early 2000s at the house of a former employee of the poor farm, who, when they were thrown away, he grabbed about 64 of them to use them as landscaping pavers. And which we're thankful he did, or else we'd have none of them. And the family who lives at this house now has been saving them and taking care of them to eventually put them back, and that's what we're going to do. So here's the plot of 400 or so burials. This is Gus's is right here. Here's the sign. It goes all the way back past the two trees. I have some progress updates. So I successfully got Dane County sign off to do it, which was great. It was kind of hard. Everybody at Dane County was very supportive. But it was hard to find the right person because it's owned by Human Services. It's mowed by the parks. There's the real estate department. It was tough to find, but we got that signed. And I, for the first time in my life, had to fill out a request to disturb a human burial site form. Not one of those forms you do normally. Not like, you do tax forms, you do things. That was a different one for me. I submitted that, and now there's a waiting process where they review it, and that's where we are right now. We're going to make a marker with all the names on it, get some donations. There's some stones to fix, and I'll tell you why this used to be go out and dig some holes, now it's ask for help. There's a reason why I changed that, and that is, I made one of these. So I took a couple of the stones, and these are not the stones, these are pavers from Home Depot. And the Parks Department rightly didn't want to have to weed whack around these things, because right now they can just mow it in 2 passes. And you can imagine weed whacking 64. So they asked me to come up with a plan that would eliminate the need for string trimming. Got these pavers from Home Depot. These are about $1 and change a piece. These are about 30 cents. And I decided I'm going to make one of these so I can see how hard it is and know how many materials we did. So in addition to the coffee, I have the coolest wife on the planet because I did this in our backyard. I'll show you a picture. So first, dug a hole. I talked to some people who do cemetery restoration about how this should be done, and these markers should be planted with just gravel around them. No cement, nothing, it'll damage them. So dug a hole about 1/3 of the deep of the marker, filled it with gravel around the marker. You can see that in this next picture. There's the marker sunk down about 8 to 10 inches. Pea gravel around it for drainage. That thing's in there solid. These things weigh probably 50, 60, they're insanely heavy. They're solid marble. Got about it took five gallon buckets of gravel. We rented one of these machines. There's my son. And actually, just kidding. We did. I'm in a neighborhood of construction, so we took this picture. I thought it'd be funny. Like, this one made it a little bit faster. Strange side note, this was on July 4th. You see that smoke coming up there? We didn't even notice that was there until after I took the picture. That's a different story. Anyways, here's the finished product. So there's 4 inches of gravel under there. I moved that's 640 or 460 pounds of gravel it took just to do 4 inches, times 3 times 2. It was a lot of work. I moved about 35 gallons of dirt to do this, so I think we need help. But I think it turned out pretty good. If anyone wants to see this, I live at 1234 Cathedral Point Drive. It's easy to remember, 1234. Come by, it's under my deck. In fact, there it is. So, now Erin, my wife, wanted to kind of redo the grass in here anyways, and I've been resisting it. So when I said, can I dig up all, she's like, under the deck. So if anyone wants to see it, I'm serious, come by and check it out. It turned out pretty good. There's 4 inches of gravel, so it's not going to move in the winter, and I think it's a pretty respectful way to show these off. I mean, originally they would have been standing up. They wouldn't have had these around there, but no one wants to weed whack, and that was kind of a deal breaker. So yeah, so now I can say I've done one. It's really hard. We will definitely need help, and we'll need a lot of gravel, and we need somewhere to put a lot of dirt, because it's amazing how much dirt you displace when you just dig 4 inches, but 3 foot times 2 foot. Yeah, and I think that yeah, that's all I had to say about that. So now we're just kind of waiting for the form to go. I'm going to call like Hammersley and see if they want to donate gravel for this. Does anyone know anyone? I know we have Maple Leaf. We have a couple local Verona landscaping companies. If anyone has any connections for those people and wouldn't mind letting me know, I'm going to call them and just say, hey, would you donate a few hours of work and maybe a little bobcat to just dig the little holes for us? Maybe we'll do 10 this year, 10 to 20, and I don't think we're going to get all 64 done, but yeah, what questions do you guys have about this or thoughts? Definitely love talking about it. Ruth, yeah?
I wanted to know if this whole platform is going to be around every stone.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be around.
Cemetery is going to be.
Well, no. It will be around every stone. It looks a little big. This is actually only 1 foot. This looks big on the screen. From here to here is 12 inches. So it's not like, yeah, this is not actual size. This is only 12 inches. It's probably like this right there. So it's actually really small. These are a foot. These are about, I don't know, 4 inches wide. So each one will have one of these, and there's 64 of them. So where they're in a row, they will connect. They will touch each other. That way they don't have to get out of the mower. They can just mow right down. That was the thing. They wanted a several inch overlap. So yeah, there'll be a lot of them, but still, it's going to be mostly grass. It's not going to make it look like a parking lot or anything. But you will notice the pavers. I just figured long term, I mean, there are other things too. We could mulch them. We could put gravel at the base, but the gravel would migrate and we'd be doing it every year. This is going to last a long time. Yeah?
Even with the mower, moving those,
They will have wheels going on, but I've been actually mowing on top of it too. I'm a tester. I work at Epic, I test. So I've been testing this. I've hit it with water, I've hit it with all kinds of stuff. I've mowed over it several times now. With the 4 inches of gravel, those pavers are really heavy. And if they move, you see, we'll do like 10 this year and we'll evaluate it. And if it's a mess, we'll come with a different plan. But yeah, so, but please help me test this. That's the process by which we make things better, by testing them. Other thoughts or comments? Oh yeah.
I was just thinking maybe Ganchard nursery, because Ganchard's
Okay.
pretty historic high.
Ganchard, okay, yeah. Great, thank you. So Ganchard Nursery. Cool. Thanks. Good thoughts or questions?
Jesse, how tall are the markers?
The markers are about 24 inches, let me think, I have this written down. I think they're about 24 inches tall. They range, some are really small. I think these were scraps at the stone cutter that they would use, so some are, this is one of the biggest ones. This one's probably about like that, and by that. So about 7 wide, 24, about 3 deep. And I found out from the restoration guy, you're supposed to bury them about 1/3 deep. So this one's about 8 inches down. And with 8 inches in that pea gravel, you pound it in, which I did with a 2x4, it doesn't move. Like I thought was someone gonna be able to walk over and just walk away with one again, like back in the day. But I mean, this thing, you have to really muscle this out. So about 24 inches.
And will they be set in concrete?
I could tell you who this is because we have the key. It's one of 2 people. Now, both cemeteries, I showed that there was actually 2 of them. They reused the wrong way. They reused the numbers between the 2. So we can't be totally sure we're getting it in the right place, except for a couple of them. Whoops, I can't talk and click at the same time. So Little Cemetery, big one, some of the numbers overlap, and some of them we have both numbers. We have 2 like 86s, so we know we'll get that one right. A lot of them, this one had higher numbers, so there's about 10 of them that we know are here because this guy didn't go that high. But then there's a good 40 of them. We're just gonna put them here. We're gonna guess. There's no way to tell which they were. I figure we're 50-50, and we're gonna have everyone's name on the plaque, so everyone will be remembered. Good question. What questions do you guys have?
Jesse, are you going to have any, like, monitoring, surveillance on those?
No, I'm not. I talked to Art, who was the sexton of the Verona Cemetery. The question was, are we going to have any monitoring or surveillance or anything? They haven't had problems in the Verona Cemetery. Art couldn't think of any times when we had people going to mess with them, so I figure it wouldn't really be, I couldn't think of a way to do it.
Right.
But I think, you know, I'm sure at some point someone's going to mess with it, just because it's a thing and it's in public. But I'm not too worried about it. If we can fix stuff, and I'd rather have it open, accessible, and people. When I was there, I mentioned a couple weeks ago measuring it out. There was someone had their kids there when they were running around, which I thought that was great. Like having people come, especially they'll see the sign. They'll be, what happened here? They'll get interested. And yeah, question over there was it?
That's what I was gonna say, Jesse, because you want people to go and use.
Yeah,
the
I definitely,
area.
I want people to
Have
keep
picnics
using.
or whatever.
I'm hoping they don't see stones and now like, uh-oh, because when they're waiting at Gus's Diner, which has a big line a lot, people go over there and hang out. I don't want them to be like, oh, well, we can't go there now, because there's, I want them to go there, play around, read the sign, and maybe some young kids will get interested in history from it, so, yeah. Cool, other questions or thoughts? Yeah, the way back, Sue.
I hesitated putting my hand up, but I
Yeah.
know where the city has a huge pile of pea gravel that I think they forgot about. I don't know the cost of moving it, but you probably know where it is too. By the Verona Beach, the Fireman's Park,
Yeah,
in that woods, there's a huge pile, because my kids who were your age used to dig in there all the time. I mean, it's a mountain.
okay, thanks, so let me make a note of that. So Sue was mentioning that she's noticed a place by the Verona Quarry where there's a big mountain of pea gravel.
And they may, but I mean, someone's gonna have to use equipment to
Yeah.
get it out of there, but I think the town would wanna get that out of there.
Yeah, maybe we could do them a favor and,
Yeah.
cool, thank you for the tip. Great, well, heck, any other thoughts or?
Do you know why there were 2 plots?
While there were 2 different cemeteries? Yes, I do. This guy originally, for 25 years, buried people, who knows where, haven't found a record of it. Then they started a cemetery A for 8 years, from 1879 to 1888. During that time period when these guys were burying in cemetery A, which is in the wind, we haven't found it, this place was built, and this place started using this cemetery. This was specifically for them. At the time they were burying here. About 5 years later, they stopped using this one for some reason, even though it had a whole bunch of open plots, I don't know why. And then they started using this one. So it was kind of like, this was for the asylum, this was for the poorhouse. And I'm not sure why they stopped using this one while it was more than half empty, or where this guy started burying people in 1918. I don't know, maybe families started claiming them. Do you guys know Gladys Benke? She worked here for a long time, back in the, I think, 50s. And she said she would see people claim bodies. So maybe by that time, people were actually claiming them, taking them to, it's all kind of just conjecture, but that's why there's 2. One was for here, one was there. These ones we're gonna hopefully find someday. Yeah, great question. Good questions. Yeah, please.
Is there some place online where we could find the names of the people that you know?
Yes.
buried there?
There is. Our website, if you go to veronahistory.com, there's a book, the 93 committee, they put together, they took all these old records and someone had typed it up who wasn't on their committee, and they put it into a book which is in the library in the local history section. It's a little binder. I've scanned it, and if I haven't put it on our website yet, I sure as heck will now, but I think I have it up there. So if you go to veronahistory.com, it'll say Dane County Cemetery, and you can download it, it's got everyone's name in there. And there's a lot of familiar names, like last names from town, that you may see in there. I'm gonna make a note there, web, log asylum. Yeah, and then they'll be on a plaque too, hopefully by the end of this year. Yeah. Well, thanks guys, thanks for the questions. I think it's an exciting project. It's one people really react to. I think people feel a connection to this part of town and this project. So it'll be fun once we really get momentum going.
Why we bought a Lustron home is very interesting. Because my husband worked at Runzel's and he was a cabinet maker and a stair builder. So he did most of the circular stairways around, I must say. And all the detail works in churches, he did all that. And then to think that we would buy a Lustron home. And the reason we did is actually, he had, in May already, he had bought 2 lots. And because we were going to build a brick veneer house on 1 lot. And then he saw this Lustron, he said, we'll live in the Lustron while we build the other house. Well, we eventually sold the lot after about 10, 20 years, I think. And of course, he ordered that because he saw it in a magazine. And he thought, well, that would be interesting. That would be something that would be done by the time we got married in September, and they could put it up in a hurry and we'd have a place to live. And then he could build the house. Well, we ordered the house, and it was supposed to come by September 1994, I'm getting mixed up here. 1949, okay? So then, the Lustron company was having, I should say, political problems. So it was being delayed. So we'd get messages saying it's going to be in another week or maybe another month, as it was another 6 months. So here we are, getting married in September, and still no place to live. So we're lucky enough, a fellow that worked in the office with me, aunt had a cottage in Madison out in the lake. So she would move out to the cottage while we could live in her house. So we lived in her house for 9 months waiting for this house to come. We could have built the other one in the meantime. And I had no idea what this house was when he ordered it. I mean, I paid no attention. All I cared about was we had a place to live. So when I did see it come on a trailer about a month before September, or I should say before June, I was amazed at how many pieces were on that trailer. And so they parked it in front of our lot here in Verona. We chose Verona because I worked in Madison, he lived in Mount Horeb, and we both worked in Madison, and I lived in Middleton. So we chose Verona. So here was this huge truck in front of our lot. So we thought, well, boy, now we're married, okay? And it's January, February, March, April. And then in April, here comes the house. And with all the pieces. And Findorf was supposed to put it up. But guess what? Findorf went on strike. So we had to wait another 2 or 3 weeks before we could move into that house. All we could do is just go by and look at it. So finally in June 1950, we did move in. And I don't know if you know much about the house, but it has radiant heat. That means it comes from the ceiling. I have no registers in my house. It came with a combination a dishwasher and wash machine. That meant I had to lift one out to put the other one in. And did that for quite a while until we went to the more modern things. But back in those days, people didn't have dishwashers. And so we thought we really had something. So anyway then, the walls in the house are porcelain enamel. And it's different than the roof. The roof is porcelain enameled steel, so there is a difference. But my house is all metal inside. And I brought along a couple of magnets. I can put magnets all over my house. I can put magnets. So I hang stuff on magnets. And this is a magnet I can put up. And then you can buy these little things with pictures in. Once you come to my house, you'll see all kinds of those hanging up. Because there's magnets on the whole walls are magnet. So I'm kind of worried about electrical storms because I thought, gee, you know, that might be a drawing with all the metal and everything. But we had built-in rods and what they call what do you call fire rods or whatever. So anyway, we didn't have to worry about that. Okay, I think I pretty much told about that. And we have all pocket doors. It's not. That means that, you know, the pocket doors are just sliding doors, which is nice because there's never a doorway in your way. And it has 7 closets, and it has a vanity in the master bedroom, and it also has overhead closets, and it has a lot of bookcases and what have you. As you come over, you'll see that. And there is no wood or nails in my house, so you might know that. And my house has a serial number, 02378, and a U.S. patent 20416240. And my house, when we went on a mystery trip to Columbus, Ohio, they have a historical society there building. And I had heard they'd put up a Lustron in that museum, but I never thought I would see it. And so when we got there, I had no idea we were even going to stop there. So of course when I went in, I said, do you have a Lustron here? He said, yeah, we just finished it. So it's exactly like my house in the museum in Columbus, Ohio. And they say it's going to stay there, I don't know. But so at least I got to see it. So other than that, I think you could probably put a little something on that you want in the meantime. And then I can mention I'll mention afterwards about the Lustron reunion that I went to, that all the people attending that owned Lustrons. So I could mention that later on.
There it is, actually. Is that you at the reunion?
Yeah, there it is. Oh, there he's got it. Okay, and then I can mention it. That was very interesting because it was very well done. I expected, I don't really what I expected. I just thought something would be sort of done, poorly done, I guess, but everything was very excellent. And they had beautiful tables set up, and we had a beautiful meal and everything, and everybody got up and speak about their Lustron. And I took pictures along on mine. And then at the table we sat at, they said, however, when I went down there, my husband had passed away, so my brother was going to take me. Well, he got pneumonia, so then my sister Marge and I went. 2 ladies driving into Columbus, Ohio. It was very interesting. I tell you, we got lost. We got on the trail right away. So we were sitting at this table, and we didn't know who we were sitting with. It was 3 gentlemen and another lady. And they said, we're taking you to the very first Lustron put up, when the factory had put up the first one. And it happened to be a 3-bedroom one. And now mine's a 2-bedroom. So I said, well, we're not going anywhere because we're lucky we got here. And these guys at the table said, oh, yes, you are. You're going with us. And so he and another fellow took us all around, showed us the aircraft factory, the aircraft place now. The aircraft took over the Lustron building and everything. And they took us over there. They took us to the first Lustron that was built in Columbus, and then they took us to the second one. So it was kind of interesting, and how different people do different things at their houses and what have you. So anyway, I've been very fortunate because all I've had to do is wash down my walls, and I don't even have to use water. I'll tell you what I use. You ever heard of invisible glass? Well, I used to use soap and water. Then I found out about this. And it takes 4 cans of this, does my whole house. Ceiling and everything. So, very fortunate that way. So I have this on hand all the time. I go up to the car place where they sell, actually that's where I heard about it. And I just went up last week and got 4 more cans. So I think that pretty much covers everything. Maybe.
Well, here, Delma, I'll show you your pictures back there if you want to talk about these. I'll put those up.
Okay. Okay, to the left is the trailer that the house came on. And the foundation is to the right of it. And then that's the house once it was put up. And then in the back, you can see a house, and that's the first when that street was started. So you can see it just has a very, we've added porches onto it, and I have awnings under the house. And other than washing it down, and I had it power washed once, and haven't had much maintenance. But that doesn't mean I sit and read a book because I'm busy anyway. People say you don't have to do much because it's supposed to be free of all little creatures and what have you, and you wouldn't have, and that's really true. I very seldom have a bug in the house, even. Very seldom, yeah. And if a fly gets in, it probably was probably on my shoulder or something, or a bug. So And now, of course, there's when the snow, and at that time we didn't have a garage. We have built a double garage now with an attic and a basement in it. So you know what happens when you do that. You move into that too, so. But, and my husband has a tractor collection, so that's in the basement. And up in the attic, because we have a ladder up there, and I try not to put too much up there, but I have a doll collection. I put all the boxes up there. Other than that, I just wash windows and what have you. And at my age, my daughter won't let me wash the windows anymore. She said, we're going to do them because I don't want you on the step ladder. So,
Good point, yeah.
so it's kind of hard to wait for somebody to come and do something when you're used to doing it yourself. So, okay, any other questions or anything? Yes?
Yes, you said that did Findorf end up, after the strike, did they end up putting the house together?
Yeah, yes, they did.
Was it on clips? Was there metal clips that put it together?
Yeah, it's all clips and slides and all kinds of stuff. And they had trusses that were of the cement and that they hold it together and everything. So I didn't, I was living in Madison, so I would just stop by. I told Jesse I stopped by one day afterwards just to see what was going on, and I went up to the window, and the windows weren't in yet. I went up where the window was, and the guys were in there working, and they were cussing, so I didn't let them know I was there to hear it. So it was very, very interesting. And however, because we just had one daughter, and got it paid for, and we just never built the other house, so we eventually sold the lot, and I used to keep the lot in flowers. It was like a flower garden down there. People really thought it was really pretty. They'd stop by. And so I wasn't going to sell it unless somebody would build a house on it right away. And a fellow come along, and he was a builder, and he said he would build a house on it right away. So that's why we stayed there then. So here I am. Whatever. And we had one hailstorm, and I did hear on the whip, but it was the only house in the neighborhood that didn't get damaged. That's no lie. It broke a window, but the house itself. But what happened is when the storm came, a lot of leaves were plastered on the house. So people thought the house was all chipped, and it was just my husband came from work and hosed it down, and they were all disappeared. So, and the house was fine, but a lot of people had to replace their woodwork and everything on their houses and stuff like that. So.
Question?
I was just curious, how warm does it stay in the winter?
Stays fine. With the radiant heat, it's even heat all over the house. Whether I'm in the bedroom or in the kitchen or dining room, the heat is always even. It has to be very, very cold and know that it's cold outside. Yes?
Do you know if Findorf built all the homes that were built in this area?
No, just mine, as far as I know.
Okay.
I don't know
there's a couple over by Glenway Golf Course.
Yes.
I just wondered if Findorf kind of got the market of putting Lustrons up.
He may have, I don't know that. The one that's over by the golf course, Odana, they have fixed the inside. They changed everything to wood.
Oh, they did?
Where I have, cupboards and stuff that are metal, they all have wood. It looks nice, but it doesn't look like a restaurant anymore. But that's what they wanted to do. And he painted it. Yes?
Did the company send people out to tell Findorf how to do this? I thought that was what they did.
Not that I know of. All I know that they were the people that were scheduled to do it. So I don't know how many builders are around them like there is now. So, yes?
Delma, if you don't mind, there's also another Lustron in Verona.
Yeah.
It's across the street from my house, as a matter of fact. It's on
Yes, I've seen it,
South
yeah.
Franklin. And it's exactly the same model. The only difference is it has a Lustron garage.
And they also had the windows replaced.
Yeah.
And they also had furnace problems.
They did.
And that's how I got into that house.
And they finally got air conditioning in that house.
Did they really? Oh.
Yeah. And it's a new system whereby the system is outside.
Okay.
But they are able to air condition the house.
Oh, okay. I have a window one which really takes care of the house really beautifully.
I think they were both built within the same time game.
Yeah, Thelma Peters used to live in that house.
Palmer Peters built the house.
Yeah, he built that house.
Palmer Peters, you said, built that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Rosemary Miller lived there at one time.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
And a variety of other folks as well.
yeah.
It's a rental house now.
Are they renting it now? I know he wanted to sell it, but I went in because they were replacing their furnace, and my furnace is in the ceiling in the utility room, and you hardly know there was a furnace there. That furnace is in there. It took 3 men to take the old furnace out. It was so heavy. It was so heavy. So, and of course my husband had passed away, and he could fix everything and anything. So if there was a piece missing in the furnace, he could even figure that one out. But when he wasn't there to do it anymore, I had to find somebody else to help do it. So, yes.
Normally, radiant heat is in the floor
Yep.
because heat rises. But that was in the ceiling, which is totally unusual.
Yeah, yeah.
What were the heat bills? What are your?
It's about, you know, I checked with people about that size house. I've never checked with the other people on the Lustron. I don't know what they're paying, but wasn't enormous, you know. It's even heat. You can't feel it coming down any place, but it's coming down.
Yeah.
So, so far, I'm leaving everything just the way it is. Yes?
Delma, can you tell us what a house cost back then?
Okay, when we ordered that house, it was $10,000, and that's probably what it cost to build a house at that time. And I tell you, my husband being in the woodworking, he got razzed very much. Not only by the Brunzels, but by my own brothers and sisters, you know, so but they understood later on that, well, I guess it was okay, you know. And I guess I'm one of these people that was satisfied. I know most people would have wanted a bigger house. But I'm just the kind and satisfied with what I got. I didn't need anything more. Just take care of what I got. So, yes.
Can you mention, how many people do you think are still original owners living in Lustrons?
I think I'm one of the only original owners. I keep in touch with people in Columbus, Ohio. For the fact, the fellow that we used to email each other, and send Christmas cards to each other, he just passed away. I called him, and his wife said he had passed away. But there's 2 guys that work from the museum, and they're trying to keep the Lustron going yet. And so I'll call them, tell them now what happened with me here. Because they've been sending me certain things, you know, and asking me questions. And the guy called me and said, well, you're the only original owner that we know. And so it's nice to talk to an original owner, which is 66 years. So.
Do you know how much they go for now?
Okay, I have no idea. I could probably find out when somebody, I'm sure it's probably, it just varies. I think how you take care of stuff and what have you. I don't know if it would be worth any more or any less or whatever it would be. At the time, it was like $10,000 when we built that house. I think I mentioned that. But time everything got done and time you add things, it's more. Your lots, and your lots are very cheap then. I think we paid $300 or $400 a lot. And not different now. So, okay, any other questions, or did I cover everything that I can think of? So, okay.
Cool.
Is the plumbing and the electricity the electrical normal, like as any other plumbing would be?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's all wired and had a couple of times I had an electrician come because just the dryer went out and it was a fuse that caused it, and why I don't know, but I wanted all the wiring to be checked just in case it was some problem, but he said it was really no problem, so, okay?
Cool, thank you, Delma. So you guys are all excited to see it now. Oh, another question?
Is it on a crawl space or on a slab base or a true basement?
Is it on a slab or is there a basement?
There is no basement. We didn't.
Is there a crawl space?
No,
Because
no.
there's no reason to go underneath it.
There's no reason, no, no. Everything's on top. And all the wiring's in the walls. In the panels I can pull out, and there's all the fuse boxes. And you know, when you're building steps like that, there's a fuse box here, and there's a fuse box out in the porch, and there's a fuse box in the garage, and there's a fuse box down in the basement, and there's a fuse box in my kitchen when they put in the microwave and all that stuff. So I gotta make tracks of all those fuse boxes in case Thelma's not there anymore.
I read there was only one outlet in the whole kitchen and a lot of people added more. Did that happen with you guys? Electrical outlets?
Yeah. There wasn't many outlets. That's one thing it failed, is a lot of more plugs. It could have used more plugs, you know.
Yeah.
You know, more outlets. But, you know, who counts outlets when you
Yeah, where did
built a
you-
house back in the 90s?
Where did you charge your smartphones if you didn't have, you know? Just kidding.
Oh, no, we had outlets for that. It isn't quite that old.
Well, thanks, Stella.
Yeah, well, thanks for your patience, everybody.
So the porches were added on, but are they Lustron porches or were they a different
No,
company?
they're a different company.
What about the awnings? Were they Lustron awnings?
No, they were from Sears, Roebuck.
Oh, okay.
You take care of so far.
You do all of this, Delma?
Yeah.
Plant all those things, take care of them? You don't have a professional gardener?
No.
She is a professional gardener.
I know because I do it myself, but who knows, I always say what I do today, I may never do again tomorrow, so.
Oh my God.
Remodeled the kitchen since then, but over here,
Remodeled it.
about right in here was the washer and dishwasher combination, and you lifted one out and put the other one in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they had a utility room to put the one that you weren't using. So, and they weren't real heavy, you know, but that's what it was.
So you had to switch them every time?
Yeah. I got so I probably left the washer in more in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just the two of us here, you know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you know, it was there to use, and that was the whole idea.
How did it work? Did it work pretty well, the washer?
Oh, well, excellent. Everything worked. Yes.
So what's still original in here?
All the cupboards.
The cupboards are?
Everything's original.
Cool. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Up there and then up there. So, and down below. I added, my husband built a stand for the microwave and for the television, but back then you didn't have television.
Right.
In my day, until about a year after we were married and we got our black and white.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, so. Anyway.
Great. Can you tell us about the dining room too?
Well, the dining room was pretty much the way it was. I've never made any changes in there except added a curio with stuff in it, you know, table and chairs. My husband, I had a table that he made and chairs, but it was really too big for this dining room, and that has bounced around to different people, and now it's back at my daughter's house.
There's all original windows.
Yeah, all original windows, yeah.
It's like the upgraded windows.
Yeah, yeah, no, they're all the
Which
same.
is the one that cracked in the hail, though?
The front one.
The
right
front
there.
one. So these windows are all original.
Yeah, yeah. Which is not much country anymore, people moving around. I can't believe it. Wow.
Oh my God.
See, the heat all comes from the ceiling.
So it just comes, it just radiates down from these and.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get hot,
No,
the ceiling?
there's no spot in the house that's hot,
Yeah,
warm.
but I meant the panels in order to get enough heat down below.
I never go up and feel them, but the heat comes down.
Probably good.
You don't want to get burned.
There are not too many people that are able to tap the ceiling to get the sun.
Well, it's not hot today.
Cool today.
So how did you lay out the living room when it was brand new? Did you do it like in the pictures with the TV? Well, there wasn't a TV, you said, so.
No, the TV was in the corner when we got one. I had the couch there, and the chairs were different. In front of there, I had two chairs in front of the, where the built-in bookcase is. But then when I got the fireplace, then I changed everything around again.
Well, as a young married couple, you didn't have money to buy a lot
No,
of furniture.
for
You
the
went
fact
with
my
what you
husband,
had.
yeah, my husband even made a couple chairs. I mean, you didn't have what the young people do nowadays. Okay, here's the bathroom.
She saw me
But then Thelma was there, right?
Thelma lived there.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the bathroom.
So what's original in here still?
Yeah, everything's original except the stand over there by the sink. We had
So
to replace
the bathtub is original?
Bathtub is
Oh my God,
original.
look at this wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Other than that, everything's original in there.
How'd you ever have time to work? High school.
You know,
Look at that.
everybody.
Wow.
And then this is the second bedroom, but which when my daughter got married, I made it into a TV room. And that couch makes into a bed in case I have extra people.
Can you show us the pocket door? I love those.
Certainly can.
What a great way to save space.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at all the pictures.
wow.
Have they always worked? Have you had to fix them, or they just been?
They have worked. And this is a linen closet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, close that.
Look at that. Is there enough storage? Have you ever been tight for storage, or is it?
Whenever, you never have enough storage, right? Answer that one. Never have enough, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all storage up above and over here and the sides, yeah.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
Did you guys notice that your housework and maintenance was lower than with other homes?
Never really compared, so I don't know.
Okay.
But it must have been because
Yeah,
we didn't have,
right.
we couldn't replace anything, so.
So there's just two in Verona, this one and South
Yeah,
Franklin Street, right?
One by,
That's it.
across the street from.
When you guys built this, did you have people lining up to see it, or were there a lot of people gawking at you? Or what was it
If
like
they
to?
were, I don't know. I didn't
So you didn't
see 'em.
notice?
I wasn't gawking at them, I guess.
Do you ever get random people coming up and just?
Oh, yeah, I've had ever so often, yeah.
They just knock on the door and say, "Can I see your house?" Just strangers.
Well, what kind of house is this,
Yeah.
And a guy stopped about 2 weeks ago and he said what he was doing, he's looking for houses to sell, is what he really was doing. And he said, I think this is an interesting house. I said, well, as long as I'm here, it's not for sale. But you never know, tomorrow it might change.
So major things changed. You mentioned your furnace you had to change. When
Yeah.
was that? What year was that? Do you think?
Well, my husband passed away in 1995, so probably that fall.
So you guys got a good 40 years out of that
Oh, yeah.
furnace, which
Yeah.
is pretty amazing.
Was it difficult, that was my question before, was it difficult to find a replacement furnace for
No, I
radiant
went to, I
heat?
think, OK Heating, and they came and looked at it,
Oh,
But they didn't put one in. They didn't put a Lustron furnace in though. They just
Oh,
put
no,
a new
no,
one and
no,
just
they
jammed
put
it.
a-
Yeah.
They put one in that probably weighed a ton less. Because
Oh.
the one they took out, you heard me say it, took 3 men to lift it. It was so heavy, the furnace that was in here. And it had problems at times, but like I said, my husband could fix anything. If it needed a part, he worked, make it,
Yeah.
So, but then I had to replace it.
Did it come with carpet too, or did it come with a metal floor? Was the floor just metal when it was built?
It was like linoleum or type thing, yeah.
Okay. Did you guys put carpet in right away, or a lot
I
later?
carpeted it right away, yeah. So it's been carpeted all the way.
At my house I've got no shackles. You can come and look if you want to. Through the halls you'll see the mantle.